Senior Living Today, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Wires Inc., First Class Realty, Triangle East, and Ward Specialty Pharmacy.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurers Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you. Hello everyone, and welcome to Senior Living Today. I'm Joey Bright, your host tonight. We want to reach out to a couple of folks. Miss Joey Weber was going to be with us tonight and was going to do a little cooking show, something that just followed right there before this show with, of course, Miss Jean. Great program, great show. But tonight, what we want to take a look at, and we're going to get to it in just a second, but we've had a lot of people wanting to know, what is this AEP? What is coming in with AEP and what's coming up? But before we get there, we couldn't do this without who? Wards. And we're looking at Ward Specialty Pharmacy. Right there on Sunset, Patrick. Now what Patrick does at a specialty pharmacy, different than the others, they do what? You take your actual, what I want to say, your drug case, your casing, maybe even the prescription that you've gotten from the doctor, and let him take a look at it. A lot of times he can save you money, especially coming into what? AEP that we've been talking about. We're looking at Wires Inc., anything dealing with the automobile, inside or out, tinting of the windows at home. These are great, great folks that we work with. And then the last one you heard earlier was Brett Hill, First Class Realty. What we call that Triangle East, and we look to what? Anything dealing in Nash County, surrounding 18 counties that we broadcast to. That's who you want to give a call to. These are three professional groups. Folks, as I said earlier, to kind of get right into it, we've had people calling up very, very concerned about AEP. And you know, it's only a couple of weeks out. And that's annual enrollment time. AEP, where we make our changes on our drug plans. We make our changes on our Medicare Advantage. A lot of people look at that and are scared to death because they only receive a letter from the company stating your plan will be changed. Do I stay with my plan that I currently have? Do I move? Do I seek advice? And that's what we're going to talk about here tonight. What we look at, October 15th to December 7th, you're going to be hearing a lot from TV about annual enrollment period. When do, what do? And that's why you want to call Statewide Insurers Group right here, 880 Country Club Road, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I'm going to give you, for instance, we want to change our drug plan. We want to look at, let's say we've moved, and we want to change what? Our Medicare Advantage. You can change from a Medicare Advantage plan that has a drug plan with it. You can change to an original plan, whether it be G, N, C, what we call alphabet soup at the office. You have options. And these options are only in that short amount of time, which is what? October 15th to December 7th. And a lot of people just let that time kind of slip by. We've had people at the radio station. We want to reach out to them as we're talking right now. WSMY, who is Alan Garrett, who's actually kind of taking a look at our program here tonight that we're going to be advertising on, talking about the same situations that we're talking about here up in Halifax County. Heather Abbott, his assistant. Bob Park, of course, up in Halifax County, and all of the folks that support us dearly. We want you to talk to your neighbors, your friends, your associates. We here at the office, a lot of folks don't take time for what that sign is behind me, our seniors. And you know, our seniors per se is where all of our knowledge lies. the experience that they have and what they bring into the families. And yes, we're getting older, including myself. But the idea behind is not what we make, it's how much we're able to retain. And as we get into the idea of AEP, the questions that we've had more than anything at all, you know, at this time, Joey, you said we can change our plan, but what do I change it to? Well, let's give you a for instance, where medication itself and how the expense of it has just gone through the roof. Now, we do have some options tonight that we're going to break in and kind of tell you a little bit about, but I'll pick one, Eliquis, up 6.5%. Now, you take that as a $600 a month drug, you'll notice right here, you've received these as a senior. And what does this tell us? It tells us drug prices to fall. I want each and every one of you to be aware of what you're paying, how you're paying it, and how often. What I mean by that, are you buying it 90-day script? You have the option to buy it every 90 days, and that can save our seniors a bit of money in lieu of every 30 days. Now, you also have the option when you're talking about, well, is there a discount? Is there things that we can do to actually save us money? Well, our lawyers will not, according to Mr. Braswell today, will not allow me to call the name of the company, but I know it's a card out there, Gracious. It's a discount card, and gosh, I wish Mr. Braswell was here tonight, but some yellow card or something, I'm not even sure what it is, but we've heard recently that these cards will actually take your information, name, address, birthday, information that you sign up with, and sell it to another company. Well, Mr. Braswell himself and David Boulding, working there at the company, and you need to get your pencil out. This is something you're going to want to be looking for doing AEP. And I want to put my glasses on to read it correctly. GLIC, GLIC RX card. This company does not take any of your information and sell it to anyone. And from what the research we've done at Statewide has actually shown, the prices are better here. And if I know somebody's not, taking a chance of my identity, do I need to tell any of our seniors how many phone calls you have gotten? Well, you've just won the lottery. But before you do that, you need to pay $100 and give us your banking information. And I hope every one of you out there, if you have questions or concerns, Senior Living Today, Statewide Insurers right here in Rocky Mount, you want to contact us. We are the company that helps you in all of these situations, not just the idea of doing what? Selling you something. Most of the team with over 100 plus years at Statewide has done what? We're seniors. We live the same life that you're living right now today. And that's why it's so much easier to come on, I guess, the show and explain to you the telephone calls that we're getting. And folks, we hear fear in the voice at annual enrollment. Are they going to take my drug plan away? Are they going to change it because I've moved from another county? Yes, these are questions that need definitive answers. And where do you find that? Somebody local. How many times have you had the opportunity to pick up the phone and someone in a foreign language is trying to tell you what you need for your betterment, meaning Medicare, drug plans, whatever it is. We may have some out there watching the program that have what? A Medicare card and a Medicaid card, dual special need program. We have those. So we're covering all 360 of our senior market. And there's not too many companies out there that we know of that our research tells us that focuses just on the senior. And that to me means a lot. Folks, you know yourself, the Senior Living Today program, it concentrates on the biggest voting block that we have. So that's why we encourage you to do what? Shop locally. Spend your money locally. Know who you live beside. Protect yourself. Ask questions about, am I getting the best deal, whether it be a drug plan, the doctor I'm going to, or whether it be a Medicare Advantage plan that you hear all the time. But I promise you, you're not going to have a fighter pilot, you're not going to have a comedian, and you're not going to have a quarterback call you on the telephone or come on the air 22 times a day to say this is what you need to purchase. Folks, everything changes, and your need is what needs to be addressed. Not the idea of you coming in buying something After the second part of this, we're going to talk about when you are ready to purchase, coming into age 65. Social Security scares folks to death knowing what I'm doing, and we're going to touch on that as we come back. But folks, the last couple of minutes here before the break, I want you to sit and talk to your spouse and see if you are comfortable with the plan that you have. The plan that you have is what actually is going to take care of you. So, I'm going to tease you with something. We talk about Plan G a lot of times. It has a deductible, as you already know, because you call us at the office and you tell us $233 as of right now. And once I pay that, will Joey, Cheryl, Devin, gosh, Jamie, Nelson, all of the team, do I pay anything else? That's what that little deductible is for, but you do have a premium. We had education today in our classroom of a gentleman coming down telling us of a high deductible plan. We want to introduce that at another time, but how does it sound if you could have a Medicare supplement for somewhere around $1.05 a day? Now I'll let you do the math, and no, it's not a gimmick. It is a situation that's coming out new because of all the changes, even picking up the AARP bulletin that all of you have gotten. That's why I can show you on TV. We need to really address what our need is, how our health is changing daily, and what do we need to do to compensate for it. Cost is going up. Whenever someone says that interest rates are not, you know, as an educated group, our senior population right here in our 18 counties, Nash County in particular, because that's where our corporate office is, you know what's going on. And you cannot easily sit there and say, well, I'm just going to let the wool be pulled over me. Because when you go to get that medication and all of a sudden you're paying 20% more than you did, folks, we've had people, you've heard me say it right here on this show. Well, Joey, we got a question. We really got a problem. Well, Miss Jones, what is that? Do I buy food? Do I buy my medication? Do I pay the rent, or do I pay my premium for my health insurance? And a lot of this is compiling. And you can tell I'm picking my words tonight because this is serious. And I hate we didn't have our cooking show that came on, but folks, this gave us an opening to let you know what's coming October 15th to December 7th. And this is one time, 2022, maybe we have in the past, we cannot sit on our hands. We have to be proactive. We have to know what we have in our Medicare supplement, and even as I stated earlier, our Medicaid. And if we're not riding herd on it, keeping an eye on it, turning the page, well, what happens if? And asking those questions. You know, they told you in school, just like they told me, the silliest question is the one that didn't get answered. And a lot of times that question is the one that always comes back and bites us. So again, I say, going to break here, we want you to pick up that phone and give Statewide Insurers Group a call locally. Even on Thursday mornings at 7:20, we've been invited, and Mr. Braswell does a heck of a job on money management, talking to the ladies of the county. Because at that time of morning, kids are getting ready, we're coming out. It's a great time to just leave some information for you to look at and do what? Pick up the phone and call us later. Well, I'll tell you what, we're at the break. When I come back, we're going to talk about how to enroll, Social Security, coming out of health insurance, going right into what we call Medicare, the red, white, and blue card. Real easy, real simple, but we're going to be back right after commercial break. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in just a minute.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurers Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you. Hey folks, welcome back. I told you we were going to talk a little bit about Social Security and moving into receiving that red, white, and blue card. The first part of the show was dealing with our seniors who already have that card. But a lot of our seniors leaving what? A group health plan after they've been with the company for X amount of years, say 10, 20, whatever it may be, and they're moving or migrating from group health insurance to a federal plan, not a state-oriented plan. And you know the state health carriers out there, we don't need to call their names, but now you're moving into Medicare. And if you haven't, even all the folks that sit at the local bistries as we talk about them, whether it be Hardee's, McDonald's, or wherever it is, early morning having those conversations, you can look to your buddy, left or right, male or female, and ask, do you have that Medicare card? I was watching a program last night and they were telling us about how we go about it. Folks, first, once we get ready to turn 65, one, if you've heard, Medicare does what? It pays 80 cents on the dollar. A little bit richer program because a lot of our health plans today that we have company-wise have huge deductibles, maybe a 50-50 plan, a 70-30, or even an 80-20, and they seem to be few and far between. We don't see the 100% plans. Rarely. 90-10, even less. So when you're approaching this time, let's say you're 64. We can even go back to 63, 2 years ready. Folks, you want to start thinking about it. Why? Even in our area, 18 counties, there is 500 to 700 seniors retiring daily. In our great country, 10 to 12,000 a day. And that goes way deep into the 20, 25s, 27s, 29s. We have a large senior population, and as we spoke earlier, a great voting bloc. We get our seniors together. Yes, I feel strongly about this. You can control the county you live in by who you put in office. And that's what voting, politics are all about. And we're not going to get into that tonight because, you know, we can just open a whole nother can of worms. Let's talk about Medicare. Part A, Alpha, the hospital. A lot of times on a piece of paper, we'll draw a little upside down C, and that's the hospital building. You paid for Part A the whole time that you worked. You paid into it. So when someone says, well, you know, Joe, you're getting Part A free. No, you earned it. You paid in all the time that you serviced, that you worked. Now, if that's the hospital building, how do we get taken care of Part B? Bravo. That's everything that is what? Done in the hospital. Now, yes, you do have some things that go along. We call it outpatient surgery. But most of the environment with part that revolves around Part B is inside the hospital. That's where Medicare comes into play. Well, the next question you should be asking me, if I'm turning 63, 64, a year out, and I'm working and I'm thinking about retiring, folks, what's your next step? And that's why you call Statewide Insurers right here locally. We can guide you face-to-face, over the phone, do a Zoom call, ever how you feel comfortable. But the most important thing is you acquire the knowledge of what your next step is, because this is major going into your what? Senior living, senior days. And that's where we want to make sure we are taken care of. So, A, let's recap. A, Alpha, hospital. B, Bravo, everything in the hospital. And that's how you want to address this whole thing. So, let's say you're turning 65 in July. A minimum of 90 days before July, you want to be calling Social Security. And I'm going to give you some very good advice because we've learned this in gracious, 28 years of serving our seniors. Folks, you can go down to the Social Security office and kind of tell them their job. Or you can walk in and simply say, I'm turning 65. I'd like to get my red, white, and blue card. What do I need to do? And folks, that's all you need to say. That young lady behind the counter does this every day to many folks just like you. Listen to what they're saying. So if I'm 90 days out, and my birthday is, let's say, July 11th, July 12th, whatever it may be, your effective date's going to be July 1st. The feds always start, as a lot of you already know this, on the first day of the month that you turn 65. Now, Joey, what happens if I decide that I want to stay with my current carrier, health insurance, and I want to stay with my company another couple of years? Well, a lot of times you will be advised, whether it be by Social Security, a friend, your spouse, to get Part A only. And that's okay. You know why? Because you have health coverage. Yes, you do. When you're getting close to retirement, whether it be 67, 68, you have had insurance equal to or better. So therefore, you still have a time that you can come in, and I guess the easiest way to say it, and not be penalized. And that's a good thing. Because in dealing with what we deal with here, folks, there's a lot of penalties, especially if we don't pay attention. And one we'll slide to as we're leaving Social Security. The main thing you want to be aware of, if I'm turning 65, I need to get to Social Security, and you can do all of this online. There are so many people that do it by computer, and that's great. But there's still the old adage, or as I call it, the old guard, like myself, that you'd like to sit across the table and talk to somebody eye to eye and make sure when you finish or leave, well, all T's are crossed, all I's are dotted, and that is off of your plate because you know it's taken care of. And then you will decide how and when to start. Now, as I said, you're coming out, you're going to stay to 67. Joey, what happens if I stay to 67? We told you earlier, get your Part A. Okay, you come out, we're going to follow that same pattern. You're going to go straight to Social Security. I'm leaving my company. I'm 67. My birthday is in July. What do I need to do? I need to get Part B. And ask right there, ma'am, sir, how do I do that? And stand down. Just kind of wait and let them walk you through this process. Remember, again, I say you're going from the state level to the federal level, and you want to be aware of that. We talked about penalties, and it looks like we only have a couple of minutes left. We're already 25 minutes after, so I'm going to kind of push this up a little bit. Did you know that when you get into Medicare and you're able to pick a plan, because we stated earlier, Medicare pays 80%, and folks, if you watch the program, and we thank you for all of you that tune in, a lot of times I use the little old trick of holding my hand up, and there is gaps between my fingers. Well, that hand is Medicare. Well, folks, you got to find something to fill those gaps, that 20%. And that's why you're going to want to talk to Statewide, Mr. Braswell, Devin, myself, and the whole team to find out what your need is. Folks, don't just go out there and buy something. It may not be the thing that you need. And how do you find out? If we pray we never have to, but we go to the hospital, the emergency room, and we find out that we don't have the proper coverage, and then all of a sudden we get these enormous bills coming out of the hospital. Everything's kind of expensive now, and I won't even go down that path, but we have to protect ourselves. And you know the greatest thing of doing that is knowledge. Knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it. And a lot of us don't do it daily. We should as we get into our senior years. Bringing it to a close, I was going to tell you about penalties. A lot of people want to know about that with annual enrollment period. Well, folks, if you're getting your Medicare, a lot of the brokers and agents should have already talked to you about getting a drug plan. If you have not gotten a drug plan, yes, here I go again, give Statewide a call. Because if you've turned 65 a year ago, 12 months, federal government is going to tack on a 1% penalty for every month that you do not have a drug plan. And that can get expensive. We've had some come in, it's been 36 months. That's 36%. 1% every month. If you're not sure about your drug plan, again, you need to give us a call. Folks, the information that we provide is free. There is no charge to sit down across the table from the guys and girls that we work with. They are so professional, so knowledgeable. So the idea behind it of being able to have the answer that you want, I'll let you put a price on that. To go home and to look at your spouse and say, honey, we're taken care of. Those guys over there have taken care of us. The ladies have taken care of us over there. We pray nothing happens, but if it does, we know we are. And there are all other avenues we can go down. But again, we go back to that drug plan annual enrollment period, and I've only got a minute left, so I'm going to wrap this up. Folks, annual enrollment period is nothing to be scared of. October 15th to December 7th. Just put a mental note sitting there at your table tonight, sitting on the couch. I've got to check what I have. If it's not good for my family, I need to make changes now. Now you have options. Let's not wait. A lot of times when we wait, it can be severe. And now's our time to do what? Just step right up to the plate and ask the question that you've always been scared to ask. Because that's what protection is in Medicare, Part A and Part B. A for the hospital, B for medical, everything done in that hospital. So folks, in getting ready to close, of course we want to thank our sponsors again. We could not do it without them. But we want to thank you. You tune in week after week after week. You give us calls at the office asking questions, asking us to put on shows that of your interest. Things that interest our senior population. And that to me is the most important thing of doing everything locally. I advocate it week after week after week, whether Mr. Braswell's on my left, Miss Bowling, Devin is on my right. We all are team and believe shopping locally and taking care of our local environment is critical. I close with, folks, we thank you for everything that you trust in us at Statewide. 880 Country Club Road. We ask that you find a good church, find a good preacher, one that will help and guide, teach, lead. And if any other questions happen to pop up, that's why Statewide is there. And we are here to serve you. I want all of you to have a blessed night. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Senior Living Today. Good night.
Statewide Insurers Group gave us choices in our Medicare coverage. Check out their options to answer your insurance needs. The choice is yours.
At Statewide Insurers Group, we work with every client as an individual case. We try to find what's going to work for you and your needs.
We really do all the research. I like to say we do the nitty-gritty so you don't have to, so we can accommodate everything you need from start to finish.
At Statewide, we want to find the fit that works for you. You need to give us a call. We can do a life review, health insurance, and all of the above. And we're located at 880 Country Club Road, right here in Rocky Mount. And telephone number is 252-316-8166. We look forward to hearing from you.